Hello, this is Lynn Brown, Brown's Custom Black Mesa, Trees and Saddles. And this is the bull Derm that I want to show you today. Tell you a little bit about it. This is one great all-around trail saddle, working saddle, good for mules, horses, whatever you want to use it on. It's on the Ugly Betty Roper bar, which you've seen demonstrated by me, possibly, on the Ugly Betty and the Lowdown Roper. A great bar. What I did with the bull Derm is leave a strap slot in the bar instead of using hangers. The saddle is really done rather in old-fashioned mode. The lacing right here, Latigo lacing going through the skirts. It's going through 2 layers of skirting. This skirting is double layered all the way through and back up over the bar at the back and up over the bar at the front. We cut it out right here, swing it down and around, bring it back up into here and right back around the cantle on the top layer. Gives you one thing, it gives you this dropped yoke. We've got a big piece of leather, double layered, holding everything from this round ring, stainless steel, a very forward rigging. In the back we have the same thing. It's this lacing, by the way, you can rope, you can do whatever you want. If anybody's old enough to remember something like this, it's lasts, it works a long time. It has twisted stirrup leathers. These stirrups are out all the time. And that cut also gives you a nice flexible contact to the horse of 1 layer of skirting. So that's the layer running all the way up under the bars, 1 full layer. It's flexible. So we get the flex right through here to where when it breaks in, you're going to feel your horse. The fork is a full 15 inches in width, the swell as you would call it. So here to here we have 15.5 in a finished saddle, and just a bare tree it's a 15. And a little better look at it right here. This is to keep you in the saddle. It gives you a great swell to lean against. If you're roping, there's a curve in it, as you can see, a nice curve, which sets your horn forward a little bit more. So that when you're up and forward and you're leaning against this, you have an offset here to here to where it moves the horn out of your way just a little bit. Straight stitch cantle binding. The leather I use in the seat on this saddle is an oil tanned leather. It's kind of hard to fit into a seat of a saddle. I've used it on a lady's cowboy dressage. She liked it so much she ordered a new Perfect Wade in black. This is a dark brown seat. She says, I want the same dark brown seat that's in my cowboy dressage. It's sticky. It will wear for a lifetime. It's not like a typical upholstery leather. It has some grain, and it's what you call a little bit sticky. So this is the basics of this saddle. Something that is unique is I hold this rear jockey down with the latigos going all the way through the rear housing, as it should be called, and into the skirt. So it's held down nicely, neat and clean, and your skirts are flexible enough to move here. I hate a skirt that's so stiff you can't move it, but this is because I've kept the bar so short for the horse. I don't have all the room back here to put conchos. And give you an idea, excuse me, this is a 17-inch seat. It's all of 26.5 inches long, it looks like. Right back here for the horse. It makes, it makes 27 right to there, which is not bad for a 17-inch saddle. A typical 15 is 27 inches long. So we've kept it as short as we can. This pad's what I call a 32-34. That means it's 32 right to here. By the time you get down to here, it's 34. It looks good with this saddle, works with almost any size saddle, a protector pad. I send this 32-34 out with all of my roping saddles. Keeps it short up there on the loin where you don't rub. This is kept as short as I can on the loin as well. The horn in this one is a number 4 dally post. It has a rawhide lip so you don't tear it up when you're roping. And my custom maker that put this saddle together for me after I finished the tree and finished patterning the saddle just happens to be really good with latigo braiding. And he's the man that does this and that does this. He's quite good. Other saddle makers search him out and pay him to do some of this on their saddles. The seat, the way it's made in here, has a full skirting leather ground seat running like about an inch out. Then the foam is put on where you see the cut of the seat jockey. Then the upholstery, in this case oil tanned leather, is put on, and it drops down over the neoprene foam. This is 3/8 of an inch of neoprene foam. Then the seat jockeys are glued to what I just talked about and laying in the seat. Both sides are glued. Everything is carefully pulled off the saddle. It's completely sewn through all 3 layers of leather on each side. It's there to last. It's a one-piece seat. This is literally more comfortable and much stronger than any all-leather seat you can put in a saddle. Your seat bones, if you're riding long hours and you're sitting up balanced, your seat bones don't particularly like a hard seat after a while. They do like 3/8 of an inch of neoprene foam because they don't bite through the neoprene foam. And it'll last you. I have saddles that have been out there for 30 years. The neoprene foam's still good in the seats. The seats are still good in the saddle. Carving, tooling I should say, on the saddle, which is a border tool, is all done on the fork. It's not done before the fork's put on the saddle. It's done after the fork cover's put on the saddle. And gives you great definition, a really good leather carver and tooler that does that. D-rings are mounted up high for your breast collar so that it doesn't drop down and rub on the side of the shoulder. That's why you call them a breast collar. You want a breast strap, then you hook it in down here. This is rather a dropped rigging in this skirt. It's down there quite a ways. I send you a special nylon latigo that goes around this so that you don't have a thick lump of just right here. 2 layers to start with. By the time you get through with 2 more wraps, you've got 6 layers of leather, making a big lump and a bump. No reason to do it. I make the strongest, thinnest, and it's reasonably firm 1 3/4 nylon latigo that you'll find. So this is the basic bull derm. I put a little drop to the fender for the longer legged rider. You can let it down and still have plenty of fender. You can pull it up and you know, you've got a little bit of cut to where you can adjust a little higher up. Let's go ahead and look at the saddle tree now, which is the saddle. This is the bull derm with the Wade style post. You can get whatever horn you want when you buy a saddle from us. This is a 7 3/4 inch gullet. The way I can do this and not have it drop down, hit withers on horses, and have it to where it gets a hold of the down back still, is by the twist in the Ugly Betty Roper bars. You've got a little flare in front. You've got space at the top. You don't pinch withers. You have no space here, and you get some about down into there, you start picking up space. So your thick-withered animal, he has no problem with this. You use a protector pad with it, and what you're using under the saddle is this. It's taking the pressures, it's moving them around. It's a flexible lever. You put this on, the horse bends and turns, he scoots the tree out of the way of his natural movement. If it's too far forward, I've had ropers call me and say, well, I put your saddle on and I cinched it up and put my breast collar on, went out and warmed up my horse. I had to stop. He's about to choke. Before he passed out, I got off, loosened my breast collar. This system moves your saddle with just shoulder rotation and body bending back out of the way of the horse's natural movement. By the time you get it out of the way of that natural movement, it's time to put 1 or 2 balance shims on, just like this, and they will be setting down here like so. At that point, you've lifted the saddle back up just to balance you. That's what these are for. They're marked on-side, off-side. And they're easy to keep track of because there's a little line showing where it goes on the layer below it. This is an extremely dense polyester felt. You will never squish it out. It's that dense. Now we pick up a tree right here at the bottom. On your regular saddle, it's too tight at the top and wide at the bottom, and you don't have contact here. When you put the balance shims in, pick up contact here, you leave some space up here in the protector pad to where your regular tree bar, it's not going to sit down that far anyway, it's going to be clear up here, to where it doesn't pinch. You don't get down around the withers with a regular saddle tree quite like you do with this. You usually end up catching the tree on the withers right here. You're not contacting down here and you're trying to get past the withers. That's why you are pinching withers, and all horses are so sore here in the withers. When they get pinched here, the whole back dorsiflexes. In other words, the muscles contract. When they contract, the back drops, unless the horse lifts it with his gut, lifts it with the hindquarters while you're working it. So seldom is it ever contracted continually, and except in the old and very sore horse in a condition called spondylosis. We'll get off of that. Back to the tree. There are slots on the underside of these bars. It's hard to do and fiberglass and make strong enough. I don't know if you have any way of seeing the tiny weave right here in the fiberglass, but that's called EGlass. It's used in aerospace. It's used in extreme sports where lightness and strength is needed. It conforms, it wraps around the object. These are completely covered in a couple of layers of EGlass, which is unbelievably strong. We have to do that to get that full slot in this tree. This is what recesses your stirrup straps, keeps you from having a stirrup strap bump, keeps the tree from breaking. The other thing that keeps it from breaking, look at how thick this seat is. This ground seat's built into the tree and encased into it. That's solid fiberglass mat. That is 1 ounce, 1.5 ounces per square foot fiberglass. Compared to your typical fiberglass, which they call 10 ounce, that's 10 ounce per square yard. You take 3 times 3 is 9, you take that times 1.5, and you've got a lot more fiberglass than a 10 ounce piece of fiberglass. At any rate, the tree is encased in the heavy mat. We reinforce things with the EGlass. This tree hasn't had the wood cap put on it yet, but after we put a cabinet quality 1/4 inch piece of plywood on this cap, we then cover the lips and the top of it with the EGlass. It makes for a horn and a horn spacer that doesn't come loose later. So the cantle on this saddle is 4 inches right from here to here. It's 5 inches from seat to here. So you're going to have a 5-inch depth on your cantle, but you don't have to quite swing like you would if you measured a cantle from the back at 5 inches and had a pretty straight bar that didn't give you any more than 5 inches here. It's just dropping the seat down into the tree bar. The bars flatten out nicely in the rear. Not quite as flat as my cutting saddle, but close to it. They give you a good channel all the way down. And it's a wide set for a bar, and it's a wide channel. But it is easier on the horse not to bite into the costal muscles, right off the spine, and so on and so forth, with the edge of the tree bar being too close, too tight. The one thing I didn't mention about this is you've got an open channel down the middle of the saddle to give you room for the mule with a ridged back, for the walking horse with a ridged back, or for the old straight-backed horse that has spinous processes like a lot of the horses used to have. So that's the Bull Derm. I don't spell it the way they spelled the tobacco. It's spelled B-U-L-L and a capital D-E-R-M. Don't want to infringe on an old trademark. But one heck of a saddle, one heck of a tree. You're down close. The leg comes right off here and onto that single layer of skirting that runs right through there. You feel your horse. I hope you've enjoyed the presentation here and the information on the Bull Derm. And these trees are lifetime guaranteed. It's one tough saddle. I made it that way. So you can use it, hopefully the rest of your life, and then pass it on. Thank you very much. Lynn Brown.